Hello, engineers. Welcome to Build Along Bricks. My name is Teacher Richard, and I am an engineering master. I've been building with bricks just like these, with kids just like you, for thousands of hours. Okay, I've been doing it for over 10 years. So if you're under 10 years old, I've been building with these bricks longer than you've been alive. All right. Now, I am an expert, and my goal is to make you an expert by showing you some awesome projects that you can build right from home along with me. Okay, so that's why it's called Build Along Bricks, because you're building along with me as I build. Are you ready to get started for your first project? It is awesome. It's something that you see around your neighborhood sometimes, and it helps perform a very important job. Okay, our first project today is going to be a street sweeper. All right, so that means we get to make a mess and then we get to clean up the mess at the end, all using our awesome project that we're gonna build together. Are you ready to get started? Let's do it. Okay, first thing that you're going to do is you're gonna grab 2 of the longest bricks that you have in your bin, okay? And you're gonna grab these 2, and this is gonna be the chassis of our street sweeper. Okay, now every vehicle has 3 parts. It's got the chassis, it's got wheels, and it's got axles. Okay, now the chassis is important that it's strong, it's important that it's big enough to do the job you need your vehicle to do, and it's also important that it looks cool, right? Because being in a car that looks awesome is way more fun than being in one that does not. Okay, so let's build our chassis. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 2 longest bricks, okay? And we're gonna take our 2 longest axles, okay? Now these, some people call them sticks, but the engineering term for them is axles, okay? And what makes them axles is the fact that you can connect pieces to them, okay? So we're gonna take our 2 axles and we're gonna put them on the last hole, okay, of our longest brick. So we're gonna put the axle through one brick, and then we're gonna put the axle through the other brick, and now you should be able to hold your axle and actually spin your bricks around like that, okay? Now obviously, we don't want our street sweeper to do that when we're building it, but this is how we know that it's in the right spot. After that, I like to push them together because it's easier to put the other axle here on the other end through the last hole. Okay, so we have 1 axle through the top hole and 1 axle through the bottom hole. Yours should look just like this. Nice work, engineers. You are done with your very first step. Congratulations. Okay, now next up, we're gonna take our 2 rectangle bricks like this that have holes on them. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move my 2 long bricks as far apart as they can go so that my rectangle brick goes on either end of it. Okay, so this is how it should look. So we're gonna do that on one end, and then we're gonna do that on, actually, not the other end. Now we could do it over here, okay? And we could have it on the very end, but we wanna have a spot for our driver to stand when he's doing his street sweeper. So we're gonna put it in the middle, like this, okay? So with a lot of our projects, we have options of where we want to put it, and I'm going to show you where I like to put it, but you're going to have a lot of time to modify it, okay, during our modification stage. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, our next step is we're going to grab all 4 of our wheels, okay, along with our rubber pieces that go on the outside. Now these pieces are made with real rubber, just like the wheels on your mom and dad's car. Okay, now the reasons that wheels are made of rubber is we want them to be able to have a little bit of give so that when you go over sharp things, they can move just a little bit, but we also want them to be really strong. Okay, so I'm going to attach all 4 just like that. Okay, so now we have our chassis, we have our axles, and now it's time to add the 3rd crucial part of our car, the wheels. So I'm gonna slide it. I like to put my thumb on the end here, and then I like to slide it right on. And you'll notice that there's 4 different ways it can go on. If it doesn't go on right the first time you try, then just rotate it a little bit until it catches, and then you push it on like that. All right, now what I'm doing here is I'm gonna move them a little bit off so that they're not rubbing against my red bricks, okay? Now remember that your bricks might be different colors than mine, and that's fine. The most important thing is the size, okay? Now the reason we want to have a little bit of space, it's okay if they can move around a little bit, because if you push them too close together, if you push them as tight as you can get, okay, and I try to roll my car, watch what happens. It doesn't roll at all, because there's no freedom for these to actually rotate. If I just give a little bit of space, even just that much right there, okay? Now when I roll it, we're cruising, okay? Now, the engineering term for this, when you push these too close together and you rub them together, the engineering term for that is called friction. Can you boys and girls say friction? Okay, now, do you want to see friction in action? You can actually make friction with your body. Do you want to see what you can do? Okay, you take your hands, you put them together like this, okay? You're gonna rub them as hard as you can together, okay, for 10 seconds. It might be a little bit hard. You're gonna get tired because it's using a lot of energy, but rub them together for 10 seconds. Keep rubbing, ready, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now put them on your cheeks. Are your hands warm? Yeah, your hands are warm because you just created friction with your hands. All that energy of them rubbing together, it has to go somewhere and it actually creates heat. So when tires are pushed up too close against cars and they rub like that, they can create heat because instead of the energy rolling, the energy is used to make heat, which you do not want in your car, okay? So we want to make sure we don't have any friction. That's something we're going to talk about with a lot of projects, okay? Remember that with this awesome box, you can build 10 projects, engineers, all right? So we're going to talk about friction a lot. That's how we avoid friction in cars, is we give a little bit of give like this. All right, now, next step, we're gonna take 2 of our 7-hole bricks, like this. Okay, now when I say holes, I don't mean bumps on the top, because if you count the bumps, there's 8. When I talk about holes, I'm talking about these right here. So count yours, make sure that yours has 7, okay? And then we're gonna put them right on the very front of our vehicle. Okay, right like that. Now, we're going to put our last long rectangle piece, and that's going to go across the very front like this. So this is what your vehicle should look like right now. Okay, engineers? If it's not, that's okay. You can pause the video and you can adjust as necessary. All right, but this is what yours should look like. Okay. Now, we have a pretty sturdy vehicle. Now we need to add the sweeping mechanism, okay? Because this street sweeper is something called a utility vehicle, which means not only can it roll, not only can it move from place to place, it can also perform a job, okay? And our job is gonna be cleaning. So to make our sweeping mechanism, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take one of these little pieces like this, okay? And there's a difference between these. This one, okay, does not have any grooves on it. It's flat on both sides. This one, look closely, this side right here has grooves, okay? So we want all 3 that look exactly like that have the grooves. And remember that yours may be a different color, and that is okay. All that matters is if you have the grooves, okay? Now, we get to talk about this awesome piece right here. This piece is called a gear, engineers. It might look like a wheel, because it's a circle, but it has these little grooves around the outside, okay? And those grooves are called teeth. Now you can do a lot of cool things with gears. Our next project, we're gonna make our gears spin together like they do here to make an awesome toy that you can actually play with at home, okay? But for today's project, we are using our gear because it has these holes in it, and it also has little plus signs. If you look really closely, you can see a plus sign there, 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 and there. We're gonna take those grooves and we're gonna put them inside of one of those plus signs, right like that. So the flat part's sticking out and the grooves are through the plus sign. We're gonna do the same thing here. Whoops, I did it on the wrong side. Teacher Richard makes mistakes too. Sometimes I make a lot of mistakes, you'll find that out. And that is okay. That's why you just always check at the end of every stage and make sure you're in the right spot. Okay, so now we have our 3 pegs in there. Okay, this is what it looks like on the other side. And then now we're going to take these cool pieces. Okay, these ones have the plus side on the bottom, and then on the top it has it like that also. Okay, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it so you'll see that this side, it almost looks like an uppercase T. Okay, this side's going across and this side's going straight down. We're going to flip it upside down, and we're going to have it go right. Oh, whoops. Oh, yep, Teacher Richard made a big mistake. You do not want that plus side in the gear. You want the opposite side, the smooth side. Didn't I just tell you I'd make mistakes? So take them all out, flip them around, no big deal. And like I said, usually when you make a mistake, you'll find out on the next step because it won't work properly. And that's a part of engineering. Okay, now we have our grooves out instead of our smooth side. And then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna stick it on just like that. Now I want you to notice the difference because it's a small yet big difference. It's small because it's only like a centimeter difference, but that centimeter really matters. Okay, so make sure that you're putting them on the right way so that it's really low. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now the cool thing is that these can actually spin. They have room to spin around, but they're still sturdy in the gear. Okay, and that's really important for what we want it to do. All right, nice work, engineers. Thanks for making that correction with me. Okay, so we are going to take our 3 smallest axles, okay? And we're gonna stick them through the other end of those red pieces we just put in. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and we can spin it, and you'll know that they're spinning around and moving because you can actually hear them clicking. Okay, and that's the sound we're looking for. So we have our sweeping mechanism right here, okay? And now we're gonna connect that to our vehicle. You ready to do that? You're going to grab a medium-sized axle. Okay, so it's smaller than our biggest one and bigger than our smallest one. Now, if you wanna know exactly how long this is, it's actually pretty easy to tell. Let me show you a little trick. You can actually put it right up on top of the bumps on our bricks, and you can count how many bumps it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an 8 axle, okay? Now I try to just say small, medium, big to make it easier, but if we need to be precise and I say 8, now you know exactly how to count them, okay? Now I'm gonna have it so that my sweepers are facing down, okay, not up. We want them to be facing down. We're gonna stick that axle through the middle hole on our vehicle, and we're gonna stick it right through the middle plus sign on our gear. This can be a little bit tricky, so don't get frustrated. Okay, and now it's right through the middle hole on this piece that was going across. Now you'll notice that if I have it like this and I let go, it falls out, right? That's not gonna be very useful. So, oh, that's an easier way to attach it, huh? I just learned that. Put it like that first, and then put the street sweeper through. I learn something new every day, even after 10 years, engineers. Now, to make it so that it doesn't slide around and that it's at the right height, okay, we're gonna take this little piece, which is very important. It performs a very powerful function. I believe the engineering term is a bushing, but I like to call it a lock because it locks things in place. Okay, because now with our lock there, this gear stays exactly where we want it to. Now, we want it to be above the wheels, because if it's below the wheels, it'll drag on the ground. But we want it to make sure that it's actually touching the ground. So we're gonna move it up a little bit. And I think that's the sweet spot right there. All right, above the wheels, but it will actually be touching the ground when we go to clean things. Okay, Now, our street sweeper looks pretty cool, right? The sweeper mechanism is working, but it's definitely missing an important part. What's it missing? A driver, right? Now, in your kit, you always get an awesome minifigure whenever you get a kit from Build Along Bricks, okay? And you never know which one you're going to get, all right? I don't know which one I'm going to get when I open up a kit either, so let's see which one I got today. I got let's see, what do I call this guy? I'm going to call this guy a historic fancy firefighter. What do you think? I feel like he's got the firefighter helmet, right? He's got the face mask, so you know he's doing serious work, right? You don't wear that unless you're doing some dangerous work. And he's got the firefighter colors, but you'll see he's got like a fancy collar on. So I think he's a fancy historical firefighter. That's what I'm calling him, okay? If you have a different name for him, or if you think he does a different job, let me know in the comments, all right? Now, don't want that to pop off. Now, and remember, if you didn't get a minifigure that you love this time, that's okay, because if you get one of our add-on kits, then you might get one that you like much more. Okay, now I'm going to put our driver on right there, engineers. He's got a clear view of the road, okay? And now we get to make some trash. Now, this is the super fun part, okay? If you would like to make some trash, you can either use Lego bricks, okay? The locks are pretty good to put on the road. You can put some of these, okay? You can even put the awesome eyeballs that you got in your kit, like these. Just wait till you see the project we build with the eyeballs, okay? But I like to make my own trash, and for mine, I actually got an old piece of paper. I didn't want to waste a good piece of paper because we don't want to make trash if we don't need to. So I got an old piece of paper from a class that we don't do anymore. All right, and I'm gonna rip it up, and I'm gonna make little trash balls. All right, so there's one. These are also good because it helps get your fingers nice and strong, which you're gonna need to build all these projects. There's two. Here's three. Now I'll just do three so you don't have to see me doing this for so long. I'll do four because it is kind of fun and satisfying. The sound it makes, the feeling of it in your hand. Bet you can make as many as you want, all right? If you want to pause and you want to make 100 pieces of trash right now, go ahead. I won't tell your parents, okay? Now, I'm going to put my trash right here on the road, okay? And I'm going to pretend like we have a very important person that needs to drive this road to get somewhere super important. What is somewhere important that someone important would need to get to? Maybe the fancy mayor has to get to City Hall. Maybe the principal needs to get to school. Who's someone fancy that you can think of, and where is somewhere fancy that they would need to go? Okay, I want you to make up whatever story is most fun for you, all right? Now, we have our trash on the road. Let's see if we can clear it off with our street sweeper, okay? Now, to activate our sweeper mechanism, we're gonna spin this axle right here. You can hear it in action, you know it's working. We can make sure there's no friction in the wheels, all right? And we're gonna roll it, and we're gonna spin. Ooh, let's see, I got one piece off, but the rest, the other 5 all stayed. Ready? Let's reverse. Let's try that again. What do you think might have gone wrong? Take a look. You see anything that might have gone wrong? I think that my gear wasn't low enough, and I think that there's actually enough space between the wheels and the sweeper for pieces to get underneath. So I'm gonna move my lock up a little bit. Okay, now that looks close to the wheels. You ready to try it again? All right, ready? Super important person has still not gotten to their super important place. Test number 2, here we go. Oh yeah, I got all 4. This one stinky little piece of trash did not get out of the way. I gotta back up again. Whoop. Ready? And let's try one more time. Say, get out of here, trash. Oh, that one launched off the table. Nice, that was satisfying. Check that out, engineers. Nice, clean road. Your street sweeper was a success. Now, with my projects, here's what I like to do. I like to build a functional version first. What that means is that it has the bare minimum pieces that we need for it to perform the job. Okay, the job today for our street sweeper was be able to clean the road, and ours can do that. But now's for the really fun part. Now you get to modify yours to make it look even cooler than mine does. Okay, so we are going to do 1 minute of modification time. Before we start, okay, I want you to look at yours, and I want you to look at your kit. I want you to see what pieces are in there, okay? And I want you to imagine what you want yours to look like with the pieces that you have, okay? This is a practice that I call visual blueprints, okay? Before we even start building, I want you to have an idea of what you want yours to look like. Because if you have an idea in your head before you start, then you're more likely to make best use of that minute. All right, so let's do 10 seconds. Check out your pieces and think about where you want them to be. I'm gonna do the same with mine. I like to close my eyes because it helps me picture it a little bit better, but you don't have to if that doesn't help you. And we have 5 more seconds. Okay, are you ready to go into modification time? 1 minute, start the clock, let's go. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna add this definitely for safety. So I'm gonna put this across here. Hey, don't peek at mine, focus on yours, okay? You'll see it afterwards. There we go. Okay, I think I wanna do maybe one like this. One like this. You doing good, engineers? We got about 30 seconds left. I can tell you're hard at work. We go here and here. This one over here. I cannot wait to see those modifications. I'm sure some of you are gonna make your version even better than mine. Whoops. All right, I think we got about 20 seconds left, engineers. Stay focused. Oh, that's not gonna work. Sometimes your modifications won't work the way you pictured it, and that's okay. Let's see here. Go like this. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot this piece. It was hiding. Can you imagine if I would have forgotten that piece? All right, we got about 5 seconds left. 4. Oh man, I'm coming down to the wire. 3. I know I'm counting slow because I'm not done yet. Yep, that is part of the privilege of being the counter. 2 long seconds left. There we go. 1. But you know you like the bonus time too, right? Oh man. And a half. I may have bitten off a little more than I can chew this time, but that's okay. I need one more piece. There we go. And 1. Oh, that's what we're talking about. Gotta bend his back. There we go. Little bastard. There we go. 0. Whew! Man, that was a long minute, wasn't it? All right. I want to show you my modifications, okay? I added some sweepers on the side. Okay, so if we had a longer road and there was any big pieces up here, like for example, a big thing of tape and some trash in the middle, my street sweeper would be able to move the tape and clean off the papers in the middle. All right, and I added this control console right here, okay, with the windshield to make sure that any of that stuff that shoots up doesn't hit our driver. All right, and a fully functional steering wheel. Something's telling me that you probably used your windshield and steering wheel too, right? But I would love for you to tell me in the comments what other modifications you added to your street sweeper. Okay, and remember that you can always email any of your modifications to projects@buildalongbricks.com, because I love to see what you engineers build. It helps give me ideas for cool projects in the future. And every week I share an engineer's project for everyone to see. All right, so next project, I would love to show your awesome street sweeper that you built, engineers. Now, some of you might be wondering, this doesn't look like a real life street sweeper. How do those work exactly? Okay, and those ones have brushes similar to this, but they're in the middle, okay? And they actually use water to get the dirt wet and the trash wet, and it has a little vacuum in the middle of it. And so when it's sweeping up, it actually vacuums up all that trash that's on the street so that it doesn't get pushed around the street, okay? And I have a little video about that you can watch after this video is done. All right, engineers, thank you very much for building this awesome street sweeper with me. Next project, which you can click right here, okay, we're gonna build an awesome Beyblade launcher using our bricks, all right? And you can have some Beyblade battles right at your house. Thank you so much for your hard work today. I cannot wait to see you soon. Bye, engineers.